probably early or late today, depending on how you want to look at it. Okay. Oh, good. Yeah. Okay, so I should have updated my thing correctly. I guess I'm clear to do that, really. Uh, uh, yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this part where it seems like you're gonna have to have the private key everywhere seems bad. So, I mean, that means. Is it bad though? Maybe it's not. And then it feels like you're. Well, no, you're not really, but. How does cert manager work though? Can I just. Maybe that's where I should have been tying in. Search man or cert manager implementation. I don't know. Hmm. Maybe it's just on the thing about um. It's for the ingress. Ingress. I'm noticing a trend here. Why these don't mention ingress like this does? Oh. Uh, 15 to 20 minutes. So install. How are they doing this? Using a deployment, some sort of secret volume. And they're creating a service. Huh. So they're not using that. They're using a service type load balancer, so I guess that's good. Doing that, that's kind of what we're looking at doing. Hmm. Hmm. I assume you can do that, right? Oh, fuck. It's about the time. Fucking authentication. I'm gonna actually. Oh, wait. No. Still got something, though? Maybe? Oh, right. So you do create service load balancer. But, no, whatever. Let's get off that. Let's not, can't believe. Okay, let me, what am I looking for here was, how does the web server even get the thing? I am offended that I'm even reading this. What was their... where was the deployment? So it's some sort of volume. It's mounted into there so it can read the certificates. And then we have these names that we're setting. Okay, got a little distracted thinking about the shit. About how to do backups. Like, how can I get to real-time backups of the SQLite database? So the interesting part about this to like is that you're mapping these secrets into files, and then you just have a file that's the certificate and the key. And I guess that is just how Cert Manager works. So so we should just assume this kind of thing, that we'll be able to get that. Well, that we'll have these things, that we'll have some environment variables set to the key file. And then we might be able to just use Cert Manager, which I think is not a terrible, would not be a terrible outcome. It's a standard thing. They integrate into a bunch of different things. I think it's not just oh. Like, basically this would act as a thing that is doing the Acme protocol stuff and coming out with the thing that I'd want without me having to do a lot, I guess. But if you can just do this, but it would be a piece that's running in the cluster that does this part and has the account information and everything, so that everything doesn't have the account information, which you probably don't want, but probably doesn't matter also. like, it's less secure, probably, if your machine got hacked and they somehow got your account, your Let's Encrypt account without you knowing, private key. Which you would just put also into the, that would be in the secret instead of the certificate. I mean, there's obviously you can do more with the account private key, but I don't know. Regardless, wherever it went, if you're just passing environment variables that point to where the certificates are, that's a good start. So let's try not to get off on that too much. Let's encrypt. I don't remember what the thing is. Obviously should have just guessed. Documentation. What? However, like a primary thought for these deployments are, a random person that's going to run their app or whatever, small app. So if I'm just running one of these, I would get my domain and everything, and then I guess I would get my account here. I mean, do I want to be installing Cert Manager on a Kubernetes cluster if I don't have to? And is it really doing that much? The other thing you could do is, well, okay, let's get off this. I gotta get off this. I want to actually try to implement the thing now. I think there's plenty of ways to go. I could even, what I was just thinking was that I could even go the route of you I thought about this before too, I guess, is that just at startup you could even call the certbot command line thing to do your stuff, but that also obviously means you have the account information on there too, which I think well, clearly the account information is installed on the machine that I'm currently running stuff from, because I just run certbot. And I don't even think my cron job is working right now, but so all the account, the Let's Encrypt account key pair is obviously on that machine. So would this be any different? Not that I'm saying that was necessarily a good idea, but okay. I'm going to have to go to the bathroom first. super hate having to do these kind of things. Like, is it... I can't believe this is how we just jump right into the things. Oh, I don't... Oh, okay, I'm down here. Jeez. Should have made more coffee. Oh, those were still the fetching examples. Yeah, here's the thing. I don't want libcrypto. That's one of the problems here. I want SSL. I don't give a shit about the low level libcrypto. Right? But that's like the only thing? Oh. Oh. What the fuck? General over. So SSL. So this is over here, right? Is this what I'm looking at? Probably should have started there, right? And I'm only going to do TLS 1.3 or whatever the latest is. We're just not even going to support the older versions. And very limited on the algorithms. Because I just don't give a shit about the old clients. All web browsers should be up to date by now. It's a okay, so I'd have to create an SSL context. Created. So then okay. Network connection with the object. SSL looks so read right. Man, this really drives home how annoying it is to have the prefixed module names. I don't think we actually ever have to do that, but like I think you just close the connection and who cares? Although it's a leak. Probably have a TLS file for this. files. So I guess that's step one, actually. So we're gonna have this, I guess. Whoops. And how did I do this before? This. And what did I got this file out here? So I'm gonna be doing something like this. Interestingly, yeah, because this was like just whatever. Unused. This is the subheader file dealing with the SSLv3 protocol only. Do not care. Subheader. So I want that one. And that seems like it. We're going to go here and look for. And we're going to put this. I think that's right. I really got to remove the foo on these old ones. So now, oh, jeez. So we can compile, looks like. Okay, oh, that was the end. And where is that? I guess we should look for SSL new. Create a structure for a connection. So this is per connection. Which means somewhere in main, somewhere along here before we, whoops. For forking, we need to I haven't really needed to look at IP addresses, I guess. Just some socket opening shit. Here we're now forking. Oh, right. So you fork somewhere, and here's where it's calling accept. So actually it's listen probably. Dupe. Okay, so I should have started with the context thing instead. What? Which was, I guess, this. Right. Oh. Interesting. Oh. Wait. What the What the fuck are all these about? New. Oh. I guess you call these to get this? Surely there's an example. Where is an example? Um, okay. So you only want to use that. Where is just so um mm, so basically I set the min to 1.3. Okay, what is the openssl package called? It's something fucked up. Um is this just openssl? Oh, because this is actually just the part that's the utility program. It's this weird crap that's the thing. What is actually in here? We got a bunch of man pages. Do they have examples in the package? Looks like no. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff in here actually. That seems excessive. No, none of that. Oh, that's because I somehow... It's not in that directory, that's why. So this is like the website. So I already read this basically, I think. Further reading. Oh, this is the libSSL. There's the TLS introduction. Yeah. There's a quick introduction. That's interesting. Why is that? Within openssl. Okay, well, whatever. Oh. Wait, where? Somewhere there was a link to this. Examples. Well, maybe it's in here. Yeah, I mean, that keeps coming up as the other thing is that if you're using these bulk load balancer ingress style proxy for HTTPS, you can't do client stuff really. And like manage it all within your thing, because that's kind of something I always wanted to be able to do, was just create your own client certificate for that site, self sign it or whatever, and I mean you store the information directly in your database about what the user, just like their password, but it's just the SHA-256 or whatever of the digest of the certificate that you store, possibly, or something. 'Cause you don't care about all this other stuff. It's more SSH style, which seems like it should be supported on all browsers, I believe. To have the one certificate for the site, and you're done. You don't have to have a password. I don't consider password protect your certificate or however that's done, but you don't need password managers. Side quest. Oh god. Right. And check. So what does that help? Oh. I would like to use the kernel TLS, but I don't know how much that is useful. What? So something like what? Oh, so look in user lib certs. And we have a bunch of things in there. How many of these should actually be trusted? Like it's a lot more in here than I thought there would be. So anyway, so I have some. Oh, so that's cert.pem. This client. So you can call a client. Yeah, I think a big problem for the code though is that I'm just reading from the fucking socket from the file descriptor, which I think is where if you did kernel TLS, it doesn't actually do the handshakey bit or whatever or something, but the reading it does handle all that within. So you can just read straight from your file descriptor then. I don't know if it matters though. Yeah, so I guess I could try this. If I do this, this should work. Got a bunch of stuff happening. Whatever, it works. Not surprisingly, since it's the distro version. Reminds me, I downloaded Debian 13. I wanted to try out. Blah blah blah. But I don't think it matters on one level because that I'm reading just directly from the socket still is that I'll just update all those reads, I think, is what will happen, because I'm just not gonna support no HTTPS. So even if you are behind, still behind a proxy, it would be encrypted from the proxy to your web server too. So where is, oh, this is fork. Free bind, so where is the server socket? Oh, right, yeah, I remember this. Yeah, I mean, we're just listing on everything. That's what it should be doing, which I think is even wrong with the way this, whatever. Can work out that later if it ever is a problem. This was code from a generic thing. So socket create create the socket there. That really can't do anything. Why am I doing this? I should eventually just get to an explanation that tells me what to do. Create a single SSL context, so we'll do that when the app opens. I wonder if you can reuse these. Probably shouldn't, just to be safe. Connections. Although there's something about session caching too, so I don't know how that works. Okay. BIO. Sending. Is that supposed to be basic input output? Or is it byte input output? Oh, there you go. I might want to scan this anyway. Right, the sessions. Yeah. How is that shared between workers? The other thing I wonder about the session bit though is that once you got to like keep alive connections, seems like that would be less relevant. Because once you're opening your connection, just leave it open. It also removes the like, well, maybe not entirely, but since you're not making a new connection every single request, a lot of that stuff doesn't matter, I would think. Of course, one other thing, I guess, if you're using an ingress, is that you can if you're using an ingress, then it could potentially do other protocols maybe for you if there was a help, but I don't know. I don't think in our case it's going to matter. Okay. So this is probably going to have something like a init TLS, obviously, because there'll probably be some constants as well. And So far, this is the only thing I've heard that we need. In there. And so then a init's gonna do that. It'll have something like this in it. Whatever that entails. I think. Because that's all your general config. And then it sounds like there's gonna be something like this. And I guess we're gonna have to have a thing. And this is apparently just gonna use the context because I am lazy. I think we're gonna have to have something like this. This should arguably be in something else. I wonder if you really should do like, wait. Something like that, where this is probably a better idea. Just a single instance struct. I think that's right. Isn't that right? Struct, because that's the type. So this would actually then be TLS, like that. I think I did this somewhere else. And we'll have minimal things, if any, that goes in here. The cert will need to be like a what? We have the environment variable for the things. Yeah, we're jumping ahead too far. Side listing. Oh, okay. So you create the SSL thing to represent the new TLS connection, and the underlying socket is created. Oh. Okay. Oh. Clients. Once a connection attempt is made, the server will, oh, that was for a client. For clients, server will create this. Okay, so it's after accept, not surprisingly, it creates this. Doing some stuff. music not on? Of course my battery's dying. It's also what I need. It's a way to integrate my music better. Okay. Okay. Oh, so you gotta do that for that. Okay. So we finally found this. This could maybe go smoothly. Oh, am I gonna do that? I gotta go make coffee. Damn it. Guess I can charge my phone. What time is it? How has it only been an hour? I'm just gonna pause this and the audio and, or shut down the stream and come back.